What's up, guys? Ninja on the Ninja. And basically, I watched this video. It sucks because I told you, like I said, I cannot watch a video without feeling compelled to make a video in response to the video because they are full of shit or misguided information or what have you and have you not. And yeah. So this is the Majority Report with Sam Cedar, right? Check it out. Oh, by the way, he has 1.8 million subs. This has 185 views in 2 days. Rogan was thus ignorant when he knew he was smart. That's kind of how it works. Um, and what I mean is when he knew he wasn't smart. Duh, that's what ignorance is. And now he thinks he knows, and that's a what's it called? Fuck, it's been so long since I've heard the Dunning Kruger effect. Basically, you think you know, and you don't, but you're confident that you know because you actually don't know. But yeah, so I had to break this. Everybody's yeah, grifter. So, anyways, the point is people are misguided. Anyways,
So Bernie Sanders was on Joe Rogan the other day. I can't remember where we were in the saga of Joe Rogan, where people, where what he likes to do is whenever he realizes, like, people are realizing that I'm too much in the pocket of a bunch of billionaires and that I'm no longer the man of the people. I'm going to have Bernie back on to increase my credibility.
So, real quick, I don't see that ever at all. Um, I should stop doing that, but anyways, stop eating as I. Point is, point is, like he's making it seem like Joe Rogan is just doing it to make you follow him and be susceptible to him. And because you're catching on, now I gotta get you off of my scent again. And he's doing it just to kind of reset the counter, so to speak, so that you're paying attention again. But I don't see that being a thing. I think he's trying to make an honest approach. But the problem is, there are people that are billionaires that control how media is put forward for your consumption in the first place. This is why you get fat despite eating right, because the food that they give you is made to make you fat and unhealthy and whatever. Whereas their shit is like really like they can eat like a pig and they still lose weight. You know what I'm saying?
And it may be helpful for people to be exposed to this, but of course, at the end of the day, like uh, Rogan, just the amount of absolute bullshit that he puts out there can't be overcome by one visit from Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
But here is Rogan getting caught up in a topic that
Real quick, again, just because he has Sanders on doesn't mean he's trying to be forgiven. It just Sanders is on, and you're assuming a lot, and you're presuming a lot, and you're kind of taking people through the field without explaining yourself a lot. And this is an example of what I mean by a false alpha. A real alpha will explain, like a scientist, you'll cover every detail and paint the perfect picture. Whereas you just say what you want them to believe, like Fox and News. You need to stop. Paint the picture, the entire picture, not just, oh, Rogan's there and he's a bad guy and that he's evil and that's all you need to know. No, you need to understand that he's there and blah 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 and the dragons and the Nixia and molten core and whatever, right? All of the details, or shut the fuck up. Okay.
am particularly interested in seeing how Joe Rogan's going to react. Here's Joe Rogan talking about Bernie Sanders about Bernie Sanders' idea for a top marginal tax rate. And you'll recall, longtime listeners of this program, that Joe Rogan has weighed in on this topic at another time, but we'll do that flashback in a moment.
Okay, so you're saying there's context that, like, what is it called? Is it context? Yeah, context that was laid out that people should know about, basically. But we don't know what it is, but there is context, is what you basically said. And again, you're kind of assuming, like, you're biased. You're on the blue side, basically, and you're like, "Well, blue people will know the blue stuff," and they're like, "Blue and blue and blue and blue." Like, well, if they're blue, then yeah, but if they're not, then what the fuck are you talking about, right?
I think we have to have a fair tax system which says that individuals and wealthy and corporations that are making a whole lot of money start paying their fair share of taxes.
What is their fair share?
I don't know.
First off, fair point.
I mean, you know, under Eisenhower, the very rich paid at their upper levels 90%, you know. But let me be very honest with
Pause
you.
it for 1 second.
90% is kind of.
Before you guys into this,
So you hear the guy laughing, and the reason why is because they are on the same page, and they assume everyone else is on the same page. Me, I wouldn't have a fanboy. At home, sure, I'd have a girl be my wife, and yeah, she could, you know, kiss my ass, suck my dick, you know, like my mom would do. Like, you would assume the mom would be like, "Oh my god, my baby," right? That whole fucking, that's basically what he's doing. Like, shut up. You shouldn't be like, you should have a red and a blue on your panel, basically. That's what it should be. You, like, when I duoed, for example, when I played League of Legends, if I was a tank, my partner was DPS. If my partner was a tank, I was DPS. You know what I'm saying? We never were the same thing, but it seems like you think that everyone should be a tank or everyone should be a DPS. It's not gonna work, right?
I know this figure because I've actually cited this. Longtime listeners will know that I've cited this many, many times. For people earning approximately $470,000 a year.
So, real quick, again, they know what is going to be said. So, before that happens, they're chumming the waters and they're making it seem like, okay, now you know. And then you're making the assumption that that Joe Rogan knows what you know. And he's speaking because he's evil, but in truth, he's speaking because he's ignorant. And we were ignorant before you made it clear to us, and you're taking advantage of that. That's what I'm pointing out, right? So go ahead.
During the Truman, I think it was
So just remember, he's explaining right now.
the Truman.
Joe Rogan needed this.
Actually, through probably multiple presidencies, certainly through the 50s into the 60s, people making over $470,000 or so, in today's money, that would be $3 million or so, would pay 90% on every dollar they made over that. Not below it. Below it, they would pay a lower marginal tax rate. But if they made $500,000, then $30,000 of that would be subjected to a 90% tax rate. Now, of course, there were loopholes.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the effective tax rate, which is always lower than what the actual marginal tax rate is, was probably closer to 55%. Whereas today, it's probably like 23% for people who make that kind of money. Maybe even less than 23%.
Okay.
But let's go back a little bit and watch how Joe reacts to this.
Again, so I explained it, right? But Joe Rogan doesn't have that. He has before he explained it. So he's hearing 90% and he's an idiot and he's presuming that when you say 90%, you mean 90% of everything you make. That's how he's taking it. Just because Sam Cedar explained what they mean doesn't mean that is the same context. Do you understand? He is operating under, you're taking 90% of my total income, possibly. I don't know. I'm just saying, basically, like, he could be ignorant, and that's where he's coming from, right? But the way he is explaining it makes it seem so, because you know that they mean 90% after an amount, but that's not what Sanders said. And that's not how Joe Rogan took it. You know what I'm saying? That context that Cedar put forward was not matched. So go ahead.
Start paying their fair share of taxes.
What is their fair share?
I don't know. I mean, you know, under Eisenhower, the very rich paid at their upper levels 90%, you know. But let me be very honest with you, Joe, on this one.
90% is kind of crazy, though. Right?
No, that's not across. That's just for the, you know, your billionth dollar. You know what I mean? It's not your first dollar. It's
So
not
if
like,
you make $1 billion, you pay 900 million.
no,
taxes?
no, that's not what it means. It means on your $900 million, you're going to pay 90%.
Okay.
All right. But
Definitely doesn't get it still.
Oh, he says okay.
Right. Okay, but you guys are like, instead of saying, no, Rogan, no. Listen, buddy, I understand you're trying to get it, but that's not what's being said. What's being said is that's the approach. What you guys are doing is you're being little assholes and little bullies, and you were picked on in school, chances are, and now this is your chance to take advantage of them, basically. See, me, I didn't have that. I was one of them. Like, they tried to bully me, and I had friends, and then we had a competition, basically. It's like you'd bully me, I'd like to introduce you to my friend Jeff, basically. So, okay, now you want to fight. He is like, don't fuck with him. Like, I'm a meathead like you. Don't fuck with him. We'll fight. I don't care. He's my friend. He's my brains. You know what I'm saying? I'm a meathead, and he's in the UFC. He was a friend in the UFC, and he knew the champion, and like they went back, but no one fucked with me because I knew the right people and the right groupage and whatnot. And this is again why they're trying to split people apart and make it to these groups are not united, because the best way for bullies to win over losers is for losers not to have any friends that are bullies, basically. You know what I'm saying? So if you're over there and you're over there, and you guys meet, you're gonna fight, and there's there's combat. Whereas me, they'd come across, and then my bully friends would come across, and like, what are you gonna do? And like, oh, nothing. And then it was whatever. And then the problems disappeared and went away. And then I got to explain that, oh, we took it all completely wrong. And like, okay, here, they gave us money or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's fine, keep your money. And they give back, and it was cool. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm getting shadow banned. That's why Bernie's getting shadow banned. That's why no one's listening, because they all want to fucking talk shit, but no one wants to help anybody. No one wants to bother. So
Okay, but he doesn't understand what marginal tax rates are.
Yep.
And
okay.
I find this sort of ironic because let's go back to Joe Rogan reacting to me on Patrick Bet David the first time I was on, where he was watching a podcast. He wouldn't say my name because he, I think, would no longer talk about me on his show because he felt that it's giving me too much of a benefit, I think.
The black.
It was he, I think, would no longer was watching a podcast. He wouldn't say my name because he, I think, would no longer talk about me on his show because he felt that it's giving me too much of a benefit, I think.
I think again, this is the problem. You get little baby dicks like Sam Cedar, the majority report Sam Cedar, who was bullied his whole life, and now he's like, oh, now the tables have turned, and so what I'm going to do is be a bully to the bullies, basically. When me personally, I didn't have to deal with that, so I don't personally care, and I never had a rod up my ass like Sam Cedar, and he wants to put a rod up everyone else's ass, basically because he dealt with it, whereas I didn't. You know what I'm saying? But that's the difference between an alpha and a false alpha, which he is. And again, that's why he's popping off, and everyone goes to him because he creates division instead of bringing people together. He brings them apart even more, which is what he's doing now. And that's why you listen to him. That's why he's got a show and popping off and whatnot, because he creates division. So Joe Rogan ignorantly thinks something, blah blah blah, whatever. And Sam Cedars taking it wrong. He's taking up the ass. So, anyways,
The blacklist.
But this is where Joe Rogan called me a dork, and apparently,
your ass hurt. Your ass mad. Oh, you call me a dork. Now Joe Rogan's a dork.
even what was that, 2 or 3 years ago? Even
And you haven't gotten over it. You've been letting him live rent free in your head, you little insecure prick.
3 years later, maybe more, this dork knows more about marginal tax rates than that idiot. Go ahead.
So yeah, he took up the ass, and he's ass mad. So
Because you're not going to achieve effort equality. There's certain people who are just going to always work harder than other people. This idea of like, we need to redistribute. I was watching this maddening conversation where this fucking dork was trying to say that all money over $3 million that a person makes should be taxed at 90%. Like, that's great for you to say, because you're never going to make $3 million, you fucking idiot. But that's so stupid. The idea behind it is so stupid. The understanding where that money goes is so stupid.
yeah, and what that looks like to me is Joe Rogan was talking out of his ass. And so instead of being like, Joe Rogan, you fucked up, and then being like, okay, yeah, I fucked up, instead what you're doing is, and you're trying to make it all big because you're a fucking insecure loser. And now you have a chance to make fun of him. Again, this is fucking 3 years ago, whatever you said. And you can't let bygones be bygones. You can't just let it go. You have to, oh, well, you, and this is why I don't like you. So,
He is wearing the same shirt in both of these videos.
Is that true?
Yes. It's
Well, I
the-
certainly am not in a position to knock anybody for that, but
why are you knocking? It's 3 years later. Who cares? Like, this is what I mean. Like, how petty are you right now? You're talking about a shirt. Oh my god, you don't have 3 years worth of shirts to wear. That's the implication. What the fuck are you talking about right now?
but I think before you call somebody stupid, you should actually know what you're talking about.
Or you should not be a little baby dick, you stupid little bitch. Faggot.
Have a vague
cunt.
notion. Even
Oh.
3 years later, he didn't even bother to look up marginal tax rates.
Who cares? You want to be a little ass for a little bitch ass cunt? Then fucking do it. But what the fuck? You're making it worse.
and gets it exactly wrong in the dumbest way possible. I thought, like, you could only
you
get
make
this
$1 billion,
wrong.
you're going to give 900 million.
Yeah, this I'm done. It sounds to me like he's got ass hurt, and this is his chance to look like he has a big dick. Oh, look, it turns out you were wrong. And Joe Rogan still wrong or whatever. Like, let's have the convo, you fucking little bitch, but you're too scared probably to listen, and all you want to do is split hairs and make it worse, and division, and divided they fall, and you want to just give into it because you're a dumbass, and you never want to unite, you never want to come together, and you're a little baby dick, and this is your opportunity, this is your chance to step up and be the man that you never got a chance to be, because you're a little punk ass little bitch. Anyways, yeah, so I tried, but yeah, be well, be safe, peace, and think and praise Allah, praise Yevon. Yevon is a Final Fantasy X god. That just shows you that I don't really care. And you shouldn't. If you do, cool. If you don't, whatever. Let it go. Stop being a little bitch like Sam. But anyways, be well, be happy, be safe, peace.